I've been sitting with a lot lately, and maybe you have too. I've been listening to teachers that I deeply respect and listening to the parts of me that both agrees and aches. Lisa A. Romano once said, "When we're being fed fear, we're being taught to dissociate from our center. And if you can obey the light, you'll live a life of light and abundance. And when people tell you how terrible the world is, be cautious. Why spread fear when you can spread hope and faith?" And I understand that. Because fear does fracture the nervous system. It pulls us from our center, from creation, and from peace. But at the same time, the world is hurting. Not in theory, but in reality. People are suffering from systems, from history, and from power. And some of us, myself included, have lived our lives inside that pain. As someone who has been historically excluded, I don't have the luxury of pretending the world is fine. My body remembers what it's like to be unseen, unheard, unsafe. So when I hear turn away, something in me resists. Because for people like us, turning away can sound like being erased. And then this week I listened to Hugh Byrne talk about engaging with compassion and living with joy in troubled times. He spoke about the Bodhisattva, the one who awakens but chooses to stay until all beings are free. And that moved me deeply, because maybe obedience to the light isn't about closing our eyes. It's about opening them wider, wide enough to see the pain and still choose love. And maybe the point isn't to turn away from the world's suffering, but to walk toward it differently, to carry light that remembers where it's been stolen, to hold both consciousness and justice, energy and embodiment, love and truth. Because light that forgets history becomes blindness. But light that remembers, that kind of light can heal generations. And for so many of us who have been historically excluded, what's happening in the world right now isn't new. It's the same story we've lived for generations. Fear, division, injustice. Only now, more people are starting to feel it. And part of me aches at that, because we've been saying it all along. We've shown what oppression feels like, what it does to the heart, how it fractures families and futures. When pain belonged to us, to poor, brown, black, LGBTQ, unseen people, it was dismissed as our fault. Now that the systems are cracking wider, people are finally calling it a crisis. And there's a sacred and holy irony in that, a sickness we haven't yet named. And I don't have all the words for it yet, only a feeling that this reckoning we're living through is asking everyone to finally feel what those living beneath hierarchies of worth have felt for centuries, what those crushed beneath white supremacy have carried in their bones and bloodlines. And maybe that's part of the healing too, that the world is being initiated into our pain so that at last we might begin to heal together. And maybe there's a sole reason behind it all. Maybe some of us chose to come here this way, to live inside the stories the world calls margins, so that we could help heal them from within. I know my being gay isn't random biology. feels like part of a soul contract, a way to learn unconditional love in a world still learning how to love. And maybe Black and brown and indigenous souls who have carried centuries of harm are also carrying the codes of restoration, the wisdom of what the world forgot. And sometimes I imagine the soul saying, I will go where love has been exiled. I will remember it there. If that's true, then every act of acceptance, every time we refuse to pass the pain forward, isn't just human healing, it's soul evolution. And before the election, I shared a video by Brian McLaren. He said, something is dying. Something is trying to be born. And what is being born is not as loud and angry as what is dying. And you can feel it. It's being born in you. And I feel that quiet birth inside all the noise, that tender pulse beneath the grief. And maybe what's being born is a light that finally remembers, a light that refuses to forget who has carried the darkness the longest. And that's the light I follow, the light that remembers, the light that stays.